Okay. Oh, look at everybody. This makes me so happy. Hi, you guys. Okay, wait, hold on. I have to take a picture. Maybe I should take a picture. Basically, oh, not a picture of me. Oh, Kathy, you went away. Everyone wave hi. Wave hi. Oh, we're still waving. Sorry. 40. Technology. Okay. You guys, basically what I wanted to do is, I know who everybody is here. I think I've talked to everybody. I already know how awesome everybody is, but like you guys don't see that whole picture. And I really want you to, like, we have such a special community. Like quite a few of you have said like that we're different than some of the other teams out there. And so I just wanted to take a moment for like all of us to get to know everybody. Everyone has like a really powerful story. Some of you guys have a powerful story around what the products or Nerf 2 has done for you or Axio. Some of you just have like, you're just a badass and like you have a cool story. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to take like 5 or 6 minutes or however long it takes, like not too long because we don't want to be here all night, but just to kind of like share like who you are, why you're here, and like maybe like a tidbit of like what the products have done for you. And if the products haven't done anything for you and you're not even working the business, that's totally fine. But like you're still a badass. I know that because I know you. So like share a little bit about your story. So I can go first. I think everybody knows me, but for anyone who's catching the recording, my name is Joy. I've been in LifeVantage for a little over a year now. Dr. Kat Caden is the person that enrolled me. I was a hard hell to the no when she first talked to me about it. We joke that one day we're going to be on stage and tell the story of how she like tried to force me to watch the ABC News video. And I was like, no, that's weird. I don't want to watch the video. And I mean, Kat, like, can you chime in here and tell the story? Like, tell them the story just really quick, Kat.
Oh my God, it was so awkward.
It was so awkward, right?
Well, I came back from a convention and I was on fire to call my chickens. And I knew you were building another business and you were my chicken, but you're also my friend. And I had Marcy on the other line. And you won't watch the video.
Like you were like, watch the video. And I was like, I don't want to watch the video. You're my friend. Why can't you just tell me what this is?
And I was just weird about it, I guess.
And she was like, I'm new. I don't know. I can't explain it. And I was like, why are you trying to sell me something that you don't even understand yourself? Like, I mean, like, has you ever had a call that's gone worse?
No. I mean, aside from the people who are not in the business, no. It was so hard, but I'm so glad, obviously, that I.
So you guys, like, let us be this, like, you cannot screw it up for the right person. Like, that's the moral of the story, okay? It took her 2 years to get me here. For those of you that don't know me, I have MTHFR, like probably like the worst, like double SNPs, every allele, blah, 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 blah. My kids all do too. We killed ourselves. I was killing myself to do all of the things like environmental toxin wise, food wise, chiropractic, osteopathy. Like, I am not exaggerating that I was spending thousands and thousands of dollars. I spent $12,000 just to go to Costa Rica and get my friggin' implants removed, breast implants, because I was like, that will fix me. Like, I was always like, that's gonna fix me over there. And I just, like, I could get to here, but like my health couldn't get up here. And my husband was always like, why are you killing yourself? Like, he's like, you have to kill yourself to feel good. And he's over there, like, nothing ever happens to him. So it was just interesting. I could like go on and on and on. I think you guys all probably know my story. If you don't, it's fine. We're gonna go in order. Mercedes, I'm gonna throw you under the bus. Can you tell everybody like your story, like whatever that looks like. It does, you guys, this does not have to be about LifeVantage, but just like maybe a little bit about like what you were struggling with Nerf 2, like why you said yes to this business, to me, after like being held to the no about network marketing.
That's a good question. The Nerve 2 like product story. I have a 5-year-old. He's almost 6 now, but he never slept through the night, not once. And what I mean by that is, any given night was 5 to 10 times, like average. Like 10 times waking up was not an outlier. That was happening 1 to 2 times a week at least. And 5 times a week, we were like, that was a good night. I was tired in the way that I had to teach him how to dial 911 because there was a day that I thought I was going to pass out and there was nobody else home. I had like a bald spot in the back of my head. My like conventional medicine, regular old doctor did thyroid testing. It came back fine. But I think if I would have gone to more of a holistic doctor, it would not have. I think my adrenals were about to crash. Everything, like my parenting was bad. I was like in crisis mode kind of across the board. And like feeling like pretty financial. I chose to stay home with them, giving up my income, but kind of like our student loans and house and everything was sort of like set up on a 2 income. This is like the financial piece of why I said yes. And then like a 2 income, system. And in the beginning I was like, this is fine. Like I have babies and I want to be home with them. If that means I need to be poor for a little while, like I'm okay, or like broke, I'm okay with that. But like 5 years later, I kind of was not okay with it anymore. But it was just like, I was retired. Like I had a health coaching business. I had a life coaching business. It was enough money that we were okay. But I got to the point where I couldn't even really do that anymore because I was just so tired. I was dead. Like I was like a dead person. Within a week of him being on Nerve 2, he was sleeping. And I remember kind of thinking like, I almost didn't even want to tell Joy. So I was like, it could be a fluke. Like, I don't know, maybe we just got lucky. And he was on it for a while. And then something happened. It was back in the summer. I'm trying to think of what it was. Long story short, we got busy. He didn't take it for like 4 days and then stopped sleeping again. And my husband was like, we will never skip that again. Like put him back on it. Because he wasn't sleeping, he was also just kind of like a wreck during the day. And it's helped a lot in terms of like behavior. And there's still some stuff. I mean, there is some like pieces of the puzzle that I think are like not completely figured out yet, but it made such a dramatically huge difference on sleep that, I mean, there's no way. It was definitely that. I can also remember like so I'm a licensed therapist but not practicing and not working, and kind of starting to think like maybe I'll work, kind of putting my feelers out. I have friends who have done like teletherapy jobs. So like they're doing home-based businesses. So I had a post one day kind of about that, like wanting more information. And that's when Joy, a year later, was like, just look at it. Like if you're going to say no, at least know what you're saying no to. And I don't even know if I did look at it. I had looked at it. I mean, I had like researched it enough to know, like to put him on it, but I don't know how much I looked into the business. I just remember thinking like, I actually did call her and was like, I don't know what you're doing right now, but you need to sign me up because I'm about to change my mind. So like stop what you're doing and take my credit card. And honestly, my husband and I went out to dinner tonight, and I still don't know like why that one like divine I don't know why, like after saying no, like very, very much no for a year, and like just no to life management, like no to everybody else who had ever talked to me about any MLM. Like even if it's like the product was good, but I was still like no, like the MLM was just a no. I don't like really care about anything else. Like it's MLM, so no. I really don't know why that in that one moment I don't know why I changed my mind literally for like 5 minutes for her to sign me up. Even the next morning, I remember waking up like feeling full of dread and like anxiety and texting my husband like I made a mistake. I don't know why I said yes. I don't know how to get out of this. And still feeling like I don't want to do an MLM. Like what just happened? I remember him saying like, don't like get out of your head and like just do it for 6 months and see how you like it. Like stop thinking about all the other stuff. Like just do it and see. And so kind of like okay, you know, and there's no going back now. Like I'm all in.
Yay. Well, I'm glad. Thank you. So the thing that like, besides like the LifeVantage stuff, so you're a licensed therapist and a health coach.
Yeah, my health coaching kind of was definitely like veering more into life coaching type stuff, but yes.
Yeah,
I started out health coaching. I started out very much in like the health coaching world. I would say like in the last maybe like 3 to 4 3-ish years, 3 to 4 years, it had been more life coaching and less health focused. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm just gonna go. Mandy, can I pick you? Can you go next?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, yay.
Hi.
So you guys, so something that you'll know about me, I say this to Carolyn Husa all the time. There's something like, you guys, I'm gonna cry, but like I grew up with a learning disability, not like an undiagnosed learning disability. So like I really thought I was dumb for a really long time because that's what the tests told me. And so I'm always like, I've worked through a lot of the stuff around that. Like, I know I'm not dumb. I think I'm pretty smart actually, but like, you know, we all have things that we're good at and things that we're not good at. And I'm always amazed when really, really, really smart people join this business. Like it still feels like validation for me. I say that to Carolyn all the time. But so like, I want to introduce you guys to Mandy because when she talks, I'm like, wow, she said yes to me. Like, it kind of blows my mind a little bit. So can you just kind of like, I'm gonna like, you guys, this is the time, edify yourself. Can you talk a little bit about like what you're doing? She is our like resident science guru to take some of the pressure off of Dr. Kat. And BB's not here too, but.
Well, thank you for such a beautiful introduction. I struggled to see myself that way at all. Yeah, it's been a long journey here. I kind of ended up on my journey from becoming incredibly ill. I have a very rare neurological condition that derailed my path in school and derailed my life. Well, actually, derail is not the right word. It rerouted my path in my life to where I really was supposed to be. I was kind of headed down the wrong road. And became a health coach, eating psychology, and then I decided that it was time for me to go back to school. I always had the plans to go back to medical school after I had my son. I had him at 20, and I made the choice to not go to college and to raise him because he was my priority at that time. And so when he started driving, I went back to college, and I'm now at the University of Texas studying nutritional sciences with an emphasis in genetics and nutrigenomics. And I love it. Like, in this whole thing with LifeVantage was such a gift to me because doing college, and I'm also preparing for medical school. So I will be starting medical school, not this summer, but next summer, God willing, with a neurological condition has been the hardest thing that I've ever done. Like, it's just been excruciating at times. And LifeVantage, like, I've been kind of like, I tell Joy all the time, I secretly stalked her on Facebook forever. We met when we were in the coaching world, like virtually. And I just loved what she was doing. I loved her. I think you're brilliant. You are so wonderful and magnetic. It just sucked me in. And she started kind of alluding to LifeVantage. And I was like, I got to know what she's doing. And so I came across it and I started taking it in February. And then I spent 9 months researching it. Like, I was so desperate for something to help me that I knew if Joy believed in it, that I was fine. Like, I didn't need to know a ton. I did a little bit of research, read it, and was like, it all kind of makes sense to what I'm doing. And it kind of adds up to the knowledge that I have. And why not just jump in? Well, I spent the next 9 months taking it and researching it. And about 3 weeks ago, I was sitting in class and my professor started talking about oxidative stress and went off the rails. Like, we were all late for our next classes. Like, we couldn't get him to stop talking. And that's when it all kind of connected for me that this is what I've been doing. And this was the first semester that I haven't ended up sick or in the hospital, which is a huge thing because you can't really be in the hospital and go to med school all at the same time. It's not an ideal situation. And I realized, like, I was sitting on something that I had to tell people about. Like, it was unethical for me not to start talking about it. And so I called Joy and was like, okay, it's time. Like, out of nowhere. Like, she had mentioned it. I didn't even reply to her Facebook message, y'all. Like, she had mentioned it. And I was like, I'm not even going to go there. I can't even think about it. And I sat on it, prayed about it, researched it. And it was that moment in class when I was like, okay, it's time. So that's kind of where I'm headed. And I'm going to take a gap year to do nutritional research. Metabolic pathways is my passion, and how nutrition can affect them. And this kind of fit right into it. I mean, it really was a seamless transition. So that's how I ended up here.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. You guys, so Mandy's actually going to be doing our next 2 calls in January on Nerf One and Axio, because I know you guys have been chomping at the bit for the science. So Mandy, yay.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I know, like, we are, I mean, seriously, I attract mostly nutrition nerds. So I know everybody here is excited for that. Rochelle, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you in a position to talk?
I can.
Yay! Oh my God. All right, you guys, I'm going to introduce Rochelle. Okay?
Oh boy.
So, first of all, I want to tell you guys that I really meant it. Like, I want to build a community of women, like really powerful, heart-centered women that we can sit on the beach and be like financially free and like watch our kids play and know that like we can all sit there eating our gluten-free stuff together and drinking tequila. And so that was what I invited Rochelle into. I might cry. When I invited her into this business, and she is not actively, there you are, she's not actively working the business, and I hope you feel free to tell your story. But I just wanted to say like how glad I am that you're here with us tonight. Like no strings attached, like this is what I invited you to, and so I'm just happy that you're saying yes to this tonight. Will you please like tell everyone whatever you're comfortable sharing, like, but feel free to tell them like the whole entire story.
Sure. Okay. How much time do we have?
Like 5 minutes. Like you can give them.
Great. Okay. Thanks for the context. Yeah. Well, I always tell Joy that she's like the queen of introductions, and you just make everyone feel like they're the most important person in the world. So thank you for inviting me to this despite not actively working the business. And I'm really grateful to be here. And I just want to say hi, Mandy, because we knew each other back in the coaching world too. And I'm so happy to see you thriving.
And I'm going to can I interrupt you guys? So Rochelle is actually, she is a health coach also. But her specialty is it NLP or what?
Yeah, so I'm trained in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and then currently I'm doing coaching for the Transformational Coaching Mastery program for Health Coach Institute. So I'm a contractor coach for them, and I'm coaching their students who are learning how to integrate mastery, which is basically an NLP-based coaching modality into their own health coaching practices. So it's coaching people who are becoming mastery coaches. It's a little wordy, but basically like anyone who has a limiting belief about anything, or there's something that's getting in the way of them having more of what they want in their life, TCM or NLP is really, really powerful for moving that forward.
I can attest to that. I have worked with Rochelle a couple of times when I feel like there's a limiting belief that I just can't like get around. She helps me. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I'll stop interrupting you now.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Thanks for asking. Yeah, so I was pretty entrenched in the health coaching world. My husband, Lucas, and I had a health coaching practice together for 8 years before our son was born. And you know, like I'm not a big science-y person. I just thought I could help people by helping them shift their habits and help them eat better and love themselves and all of that. And it never occurred to me, even though I have a nephew with autism, it never occurred to me that I could have a baby that wasn't well. And we were like the healthiest people I knew. I was doing Bikram yoga 3 times a week and just like, you know, really committed to what I thought was a healthy lifestyle. And then I had a baby who was born with a birth defect that happens to 1 in 10,000 babies. And I had a home birth because I thought that was the best thing for him. He didn't breathe. 15 minutes after he was born, he was in an ambulance on his way to Hopkins and spent the first 2 weeks of his life in the NICU. And he's been a bit of a mystery kid like ever since. But when I first found out I was pregnant with my second child, Joy was switching into LifeVantage, and I had been connecting with her for a while at that point. And I just decided I need to take this. Like, I was feeling so crappy in my early pregnancy that I wanted to see what it would be like to be NRF2 activated while pregnant. So I started taking Protandim and feeling, as good as I could feel being pregnant. Had a really challenging labor, but like healthy, like robust baby. And, every baby is different, but I couldn't help but wonder, like, what would have happened to my first son if I had been activated, while pregnant with him, because they have, somewhat of the same genetic foundations. So anyway, I've taken it since, I think I was 2 or 3 months pregnant, and all the way through my pregnancy. I took it through my postpartum period, and I, have felt great. And my baby's 7 months old. They're both still nursing, so they're getting a little bit through my milk. But at some point in the summer, I was like, I don't know if I can, maintain the level of coaching that I was doing before I had 2 kids. So I inquired about the business opportunity, and I haven't done anything with it yet, but I told Joy I'll be a slow burn, if anything. Like, at some point, I think it'll make sense for me to dive into that. But for now, I'm taking it. I'm finding ways to, get it into my kiddos. And there's a little more to the story that I think I'll share when I have greater confidence around it in terms of my older son's development. But I did give it to him for a short period, and he did some things that he had never done before, like 3 times in a row that week. And it was pretty remarkable. And I've talked to a couple doctors that aren't even in the LifeVantage family who said that's probably because he was NRF2 activated. So I know he's going to be my success story, but might just take a little while for us to get there. So for now, I think that's all I'm going to share. And again, Joy, thank you for having me, and I'm grateful to be here connecting with everyone.
Yes, and coming. Meredith, is it okay if I put you on the spot? It's delayed. Meredith? Maybe not. Can you not hear me? Oh, Meredith.
Oh, I'm sorry. My internet connection keeps in and out, so I just
oh
okay.
No, I wanted to introduce you since I think you're our newest family member here. So I wanted to introduce you. Although a lot of you guys, like most people, I think don't know each other here. And then I also thought if you wouldn't mind like sharing a little bit about your background and then maybe a little bit of Ruby's story.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's hard to condense it because everything seems so long. I have my own laundry list of health history issues that I won't get into right now. But I met Mercedes several doing life coaching and business coaching. We're in the same program with that. But what I primarily do for work is I'm a yoga tune-up teacher and a neurokinetic therapist. And I'm in massage school right now. I primarily work with people who have chronic pain and autoimmune issues because of my own history. But what brought me to LifeVantage was my youngest daughter, Ruby. I have 3 children. Ruby's 14. They all have health issues as well, by the way. So one by one, my son and I just started Protandim last week. But Ruby's been on it for, I guess, about a little over 2.5 months, I would say. And Ruby's 14. She has Down syndrome. She has had many health complications in her time, heart surgery, bowel surgery, so many things. She had Lyme disease twice. The most recent was neither, and neither time was it actually treated completely. And last year, right after the break, she had a huge regression, or just started a huge regression that lasted for a few months, where she it affected every single area of her development, fine motor, gross motor, mostly through balance and that sort of thing. At times, she seemed to be almost catatonic. She seemed to be in pain sometimes. She started grinding her teeth incessantly. She lost almost all of her speech, which, I mean, her speech was already delayed, but her progress right before this happened was wonderful. Where she was, I was so excited because 6 months had been so good, and then it, like, the rug was pulled out from under us. So every area, she went from, you know, being a 14-year-old, yes, who was delayed pretty much across the board, back to where she was when she was a toddler. So it was like having her as a, you know, a developmentally delayed toddler again. And it was just devastating. And I attributed it to chronological Lyme. A lot of the symptoms matched up. I couldn't really get any medical professional on board with that. I did eventually find one who they ran the Lyme test, and it was positive for IgG, so there wasn't past infection. All the bands of the Western blot were positive, but still no one really wanted to treat her. I took her to the Trisomy 21, which is Down syndrome clinic at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and they basically said, well, maybe it's a mood disorder. Here's some Zoloft. And I wouldn't do it. So I just kept trying different things to detoxify her, try and reduce inflammation. And it was hit or miss. Like, you know, I just kept trying different things. And she did, the regression stopped, and she made some progress, little progress, and it would kind of revert back every once in a while. So it wasn't like a steady some progress. And then, you know, I saw one of Mercedes' posts. I also was kind of anti-network marketing, consumer, I'm afraid, for a lot of products. But I was desperate, and I trusted Mercedes, and I liked her approach and what she was saying. So I said, I need to try this. And I started Ruby on a quarter pill for a week. Then I went right to the full pill, and I would say 2 days later, she started just making these huge gains that have continued now for the past months. And it's just, I'm so excited. I can't even, I'm going to cry because it's like she's back. Like she's back from where she was. She lost all of her personality. I mean, she was like a shell of who she was. And now she's, you know, she's getting her academics back. She's talking so much more. She's adding words. I was Mercedes enjoyed that she said the F word now a couple times, and I was celebrating. So just, you know, she's to be able to, I mean, she couldn't even hold a pencil. She was writing sentences, and then she couldn't hold a pencil and do anything. Everything was hand over hand. And she's getting all those skills back. So I feel like it's, I can't really hear you.
Oh, I'm not talking. You're talking.
Okay, was it just an echo? My connection's really bad. Sorry.
No,
anyway, then I was finally like, Mercedes, I need to sell this. What?
No, it's perfect. Thank you. I appreciate you. Her story is so heartwarming. I appreciate you sharing it with everybody.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm excited to see where this goes. And I just felt like I couldn't not share it with other people. So we'll see.
Thank you. Hey, Kristen, can you tell your story? You there?
Hi.
Hi. You guys, so Kristen is a little quiet sometimes. I don't know, unless you guys have been to an event. Like, I don't know if you guys know her, but she may have one of the most powerful stories of everybody on the team, to be honest with you. Would you mind just kind of introducing yourself and saying whatever you want?
So I know Joy because our kids went to schools together back when I lived just around the corner from her. And I didn't know her that well personally, but she friended me. And I ran into her a few times at the school here and there. And then we moved out of the area about 3 years ago. And Joy was somebody whose posts I always looked for because I enjoyed reading what she had to say. I trusted what she had to say. And I felt like, you know, the things that she had to say was valuable. And if I didn't see her post for a few days, I'd go looking because I knew I had to be missing something. But anyway, so I had worked with another Beachbody coach. I wasn't a huge fan of Beachbody, honestly, as a customer, but I just wanted to work with Joy. And so I signed up to do something with her as a customer at that point in time. But when she switched companies and I saw the shift that was happening, I was very curious, and I didn't post about my curiosity. I just kind of watched. And then when she invited to a group to share what was next, I raised my hand because I was really curious to see, because again, I trusted her and I knew it had to be something good. And
can I interrupt? Wait, you guys, I totally forgot. I think Kristen was my very first customer. I feel like that's an important point to add. I think she was my very first customer when I came onto LifeVantage. Sorry, go ahead.
No problem. So anyway, I watched, it was Kathleen Trost and Joy did the presentation, and I watched the ABC report. And I was very intrigued and fascinated by it, but despite the fact that I had a slew of health issues that never really connected with me that, you know, this is not normal, you know, it's not normal to be suffering with migraines and have plantar fasciitis and all these, you know, different things that I had. It was the fact that I had acne surface a number of months prior that I could not get rid of no matter what I tried. That, you know, that was what was speaking to me, you know. That's what I was concerned with more than anything else, because, you know, people see it. I was afraid to, you know, I had gotten to the point where I was afraid to go out in public. I was trying to find makeup to cover it up because, you know, everybody sees your face. And that was important to me. So I messaged her and I asked her, I said, would this help, would reducing my oxidative stress help with my acne? And she didn't really know, so she contacted Kathleen and asked Kathleen and said, well, acne could be a result of oxidative stress. So I thought, you know, what the heck, I'm not one that likes to put money into supplements, and I know these aren't really supplements, but you know, taking anything like that, putting money out into something like that is not what I like to spend money on. But I got it and started taking it. I got it in October, started taking it my birthday weekend, 39th birthday weekend. And I didn't pay attention to anything else except for the acne. I watched the acne for, you know, a month and a half. And I, you know, I saw it was getting a little bit better. I didn't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but all of a sudden one day it dawned on me, wow, I haven't had a migraine in over a month. And I didn't say anything. I just kept my mouth shut. And the next month, it's been 2 months. And I said to my husband, I said, do you know what today is? And he's going through the list of the possibilities, somebody's birthday, a holiday, it's Sunday, or, you know, whatever. I said, I haven't had a migraine in 2 months. And at the time, he was working 4 hours from home. He was only home on the weekends, and the last couple of migraines I had fell on days where he was home. And it was hard for me to know whether that was a blessing or a curse, because here I only had a day and a half or so with him. And I was grateful that he was there to help with the kids, but at the same time, those were the only days I had with him, and I was not well. And I was in bed all day. I was vomiting all day. And so now we're December 9th, so it's 6 days and I'll be 14 months migraine free. But in addition to that, I started to notice that the plantar fasciitis I had been dealing with for a couple of years was gone. That, you know, I would get out of bed and my joints would ache, and, you know, I just thought, I would wake up and I'd think, oh gosh, you know, it's so noticeable that I'm getting ready to be 40. I'm feeling so old. And my mom had always told me, don't say, you know, don't talk about yourself like that, because you'll start to believe it. But I really truly felt it. I'm just getting so old. And I've had bouts of psoriasis. You know, I haven't had a return of psoriasis since I've reduced oxidative stress. Oh, there's so many things. And you know what, sometimes I forget all of the things because it's been so long since I've suffered from any of it. But acne, my acne's gone. I haven't had to, every now and then I'll get a pimple like around that time of the month or something, but I haven't had to like worry about it. And I go makeup free constantly. And Joy, I lost 35 pounds and I think it was from inflammation, honestly, because my body was just so riddled with inflammation. I was going to the chiropractor constantly. I hardly ever go to the chiropractor anymore. By the way, Dr. Kat was like my first ever chiropractor too. And so when I saw that she was with Joy in this business venture, that has actually played a role in me. I guess it was maybe 6 months later, Joy asked, you know, how I would feel about sharing this with others. And I saw Dr. Kat was involved. I thought, you know, I trust that she was somebody that if she's in this is, you know, business-wise, this was something big. But anyway, like I said, I can't remember the slew of the laundry list of ailments that I had, but they were numerous. But I feel, I mean, I'm 40 now, and I feel better than I did at 30.
It's amazing. We have to really work on you sharing that story more. It really is powerful. Thank you, Kristen. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming tonight. Carolyn, can you go? I know, like, I want to do, like, gosh, I don't know. Is there anyone that, like, doesn't want to talk? I want to give everyone an opportunity, but I don't want to keep you guys here till, like, 10 o'clock or 10:30. Anyway, Carolyn, can you go? Can you share a little bit about, you have to unmute yourself. Maybe I can do it for you. There, I did it.
Okay. Sure. So I come from a background of high stress corporate world. Spent over 20 years in HR consulting and outsourcing. I managed large client accounts. I had large teams reporting into me to provide service to my clients. And it was super stressful. I left that world in October of last year with the intention of working with my husband to start a business where we invested a lot of money to buy a lot of equipment in his world. He's an entertainment rigger, and so we own a lot of that equipment now. And I thought I'd go back to work. And in January, I started seeing posts from Joy around, or actually before that, but in January I reached out to her about oxidative stress. And I actually knew what oxidative stress was. I didn't know as much as I know now, but I knew it at the time because my then 10-year-old son had very high levels of oxidative stress. And the naturopath we were seeing also used words like his mitochondria are burning. And this was after 5 years of biohacking through food and removing toxins and so many things. And so when Joy mentioned oxidative stress, it totally caught my attention. So I called her and I said, I'm interested in this, but I'm not going to do it without my naturopath, you know, blessing it. But I want to do it on myself because I've had a lot of stress. I don't sleep well. I've had adrenal fatigue. I've had leaky gut. I've had all kinds of things. And so I started taking it. Never thought about the business. Or at that point, I didn't think about the business. Within 4 days, I was sleeping like I hadn't slept in probably 20, 25 years. I felt better. I had more energy. My mood was better. And I started to lose weight after struggling for so many years. I'm down 40 pounds now. since starting in January. Anyway, been super meaningful for me. We put Charles on it too, and it's helped him. My husband's on this Vitality Stack now. We're all in. We've all seen benefits of the product. For me, I made the decision not to go back to work as I thought I might earlier this year, and look for other ways of, helping supplement our income as we have this new fledgling business. Because I was diagnosed with breast cancer it was actually a week after I started taking the Vitality Stack. And I knew that was stress. I knew that the reason that happened to me was stress and that lifestyle. And so right now I'm not going back. I'm not going to go back to that environment. I'm not going to do that to myself. And I think LifeVantage is going to help me with that. It's a challenge. I have 2 new businesses. That's challenging. I have a son who's still working through peeling away the onion of his challenges, but he's doing great. I mean, he's a straight A student in his first year of middle school, and that's like astonishing to me. He's a super bright kid, but he struggled with focus and all kinds of things all his life. And so now I feel like we have the tools to kind of get us to a much better place as a family.
Thank you. I feel like I need to see, this is what I wanted to do. Sherry, can you pop on? Carolyn, do you know Sherry Zach?
Yeah, we met.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So you guys already know how much you have in common there?
Yes.
Okay. Sherry, do you want to say anything?
I mean, I can introduce myself.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
I don't know if I really have a story to share, but
you're still a badass. It counts.
Okay. Okay. I'm hearing an echo of my own voice, so I'm gonna unplug my head.
I'm gonna mute Carolyn. Hold on.
Okay. That's weird. Okay. I'm still hearing it. Let me turn off my volume. All right. So, yes, I got diagnosed with breast cancer a year ago in December. Christy called me early in the year this year. I don't remember, maybe February. And I was a little bit overwhelmed with all of my treatments and stuff. So I was pretty interested in hearing more, but I didn't. I just had too much. I was overwhelmed. I was doing all sorts of other stuff. So I put it off for quite a while. And finally, in September, we were able to connect. There's lots of different things that happened throughout the year that kind of delayed me joining. But I called her in September and signed up. And I've been on it ever since. Obviously, it's just 3 months. But my thing is, I don't really know about that. Like, I don't know if I've done a lot of treatments outside of this as well, so I don't know how NRF2 has affected my cancer. But I know I did a post the other day, so this is not a secret, but I struggled with anxiety and depression for a really long time. As far as that goes, that's like a lifelong thing. Like, it's just, I use nutrition whenever I can, but whenever I start eating like crap again, I start struggling again. So what I noticed recently was that I really have my brain is a lot quieter. So it's really helped me just with calmness in my stress level. So I feel bad. It's hard for me to share sometimes because, not with you guys, but to kind of sell the product, because I don't really have a story. Like, I didn't have physical things that I can say anything went away, or I have nothing to kind of substantiate And now I'm starting to, now I'm starting to feel like, wow, like I would normally be really anxious right now, or I don't really have knots in my stomach right now, or I just feel really calm. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot to say. It's just.
Well, except that you're a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
And you're a single mom, and you're a health coach with a specialty in psychology of eating.
Yes.
And just an all-around badass. So that's something.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can. I tell you everything I've done. I was just talking about like the product and.
Yeah.
Like,
no. I know.
And
if it makes you feel better, you guys, like, I don't have any huge product story.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, when Kat first put me on this, I spent like the next 6 months, and she was also talking to me about the business, and I finally acquiesced to start taking the product, and I felt like shit. I felt awful. I was one of the 3% that detoxed, and I detoxed hard. I did not know it at the time, but I was dumping mercury because I still have the implants in me. And I can remember going into Nile for myofascial release every Friday. And every Friday I was like, you gotta take me off this stuff. This is making me worse. And she, every Friday was like, no, you need to stay on it. You need to stay on it. And I was probably on it like a good 9 months before I even had an inkling of, oh, maybe this does work. And it wasn't until then, I had been taking the product for a year, and I took it into my holistic pediatrician, who we pay out of pocket a small fortune to see, and everything I've ever showed her, like essential oils, colloidal silver, oregano oil, like anything that comes across like our plates in the holistic realm, I've taken to her and said, is this okay to give to my kids? And she always said, no, you don't need that. Just eat real food. And it was really her is what got me thinking about the business, because I brought it to her and I said, is this safe to give my kids? And she said, not only should you give this to your children, but you need to tell everyone you love about it. So I think that a lot of ways that's the reasons that's why I've always led with the business or the science, because I don't have a product story. Hi, I took it and made me feel like shit. I mean, that's not a sell. I can't sell it like that. So,
yeah.
So anyway, my point is I feel you.
Yeah.
But the beauty is, because there's so much science behind it, I've never had an issue. Never.
Yeah. I still share it. I just share the science.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You don't need to have a huge product story. Trina, do you want to share a little?
Hi, sure.
Hey.
So my name's Trina Kinsey. I am a health coach. I came from another network marketing company, which I was with for about 5 years. And I didn't really have it on my radar to leave that company because I was happy there and I was making some pretty good money. And I just started noticing Joy's posts and I was like, what is she doing? And it just intrigued me. And then something happened with my upline that like left a little doubt in my mind. And so then I thought, let me explore. So I reached out to Joy and I started talking to her about it. And I started with the products myself. And I actually flew out to Indianapolis to the Elite Academy because I was like, you know, I want to learn more. And I signed up as a distributor, but I wasn't quite ready to really do much with it yet. I wanted to take the products myself. And I said I was a yes, but I wasn't really a yes because I was still working through some issues. So at the time I had really bad Epstein-Barr and it was debilitating for me. I had insomnia, I had anxiety, I had a really bad aches and pains. I had weight gain. And of course I was taking a nap every day, which was really sad because I was letting my 3-year-old watch TV for 2 hours so I could take a nap every day. And I felt really guilty about it, but I had to do what I had to do. So within a couple of weeks after I started activating myself, pretty much all of it went away. I was sleeping better. My aches and pains were gone. My anxiety was gone. I didn't have to take naps anymore. So I was using the Vitality Stack and Axio. So having had that transformation in just a couple of weeks was huge for me. I went back to my functional medicine doctor, and she went through the list of symptoms with me, and I was like, no. And I had actually forgotten how awful I had been feeling for so long, that as she was going through that, I was like, oh my God, I was like a zombie, like I was half dead. And so I was just really impressed with my own personal experience and how I felt differently. So then I sort of continued to be a student and look into more, and I went to Global Convention back in October, and I was really, really impressed with the caliber of the people on the team. It was like my tribe. It's people that are, like you said, gluten-free, dairy-free, all the, really heart-centered. And for me, being in alignment is like my number one thing. I have to be in integrity. I can't do something if I don't believe in it. And that's also why I was steering away from that other network marketing company, because it just it didn't feel right in my heart for me anymore. And it didn't feel like where I belonged. So after that convention, I just kind of like hit the gas and I said, I'm definitely doing this. And I upgraded to a platinum distributorship. And now I'm all in and I'm a yes. So I'm really happy to be here with all of you guys. You have really amazing stories. And this team is really a big part for me of why I'm here, because I feel like I can be myself and I don't have to water myself down to be here.
Oh my God, I love that. And I don't know if you guys saw how Trina spoke in the glimpse into the business of biohacking, but I have to say you're a total business badass too. Like, you're so quiet over there, but I was like, oh, that's why she was super successful in the other company.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Tracy, can you share a little?
Sure. I just got back from a trip, so I'm not even unpacked yet. But so my story, I started taking Protandim in March.
Well, wait, hold on. Tracy, hi. Who
Hi.
are you?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I am Tracy. I live in Texas. I'm a budding homesteader. I have tons of animals. I'm also a health coach. I work in technology for the Truth About Cancer. We just had a big event in Nashville this last week. It was a lot of fun. Got to meet all the big name people, Del Bigtree and Dr. Z and all that. It was a lot of fun. But anyways, I do, I run the e-commerce site for the Truth About Cancer, the Shopify, where you buy stuff. That's what I do for them. So I got sick about 2.5 years ago with Lyme. It was sick before that, but I was finally diagnosed with Lyme about 2.5 years ago. And I lost my job, pretty high paying technology job. I couldn't function, completely lost in technology, you have to be sharp. If your brain isn't working, you're done. And that's why I got fired, because I couldn't keep up with it. And I took a few months off and started working on my recovery. And I did a whole bunch of stuff, herbal stuff, low-dose naltrexone, just a whole bunch of different things. And I started feeling better. I started to get my brain back. But the one thing that was missing for me was energy. I still struggle to get out of bed every day. And when I saw Joy posting about the Protandim and stuff, and I asked for the information, and she sent me her presentation, and I watched it, and I went and ordered it. I didn't even talk to her about it after that. I just went and ordered it. I didn't even ask for a lead. I figured it out, because I'm in technology, and I figure things out. I don't have to ask questions. And I got the stuff, and I started taking it, and it was like 3 days. And it was like somebody was turning a little light switch on in my brain, like a dimmer switch. And I was able to get out of bed. I quit having to take naps every day. It was like serious. Somebody flipped the light on in my brain. And I started using the Axio, and I was having fewer anger issues. That was one of the really difficult things. I would have these like anger outbursts where I would get so angry about something, and it was like I was sitting or standing beside myself watching this whole anger thing unfold, and I had no control over it. And when I started using the Axio, kind of brought me back under that control. Like I could handle whatever was happening without being triggered by stuff. It was so crazy. So anyways, I also came from another network marketing company, a product that I love, company that I love, a team that I love, but nobody was advancing. Nobody was really building business. People were trying, but nothing was happening. And I happened to get on one of the team calls one month, and I saw the energy. I felt the energy of the call, of people rank advancing and all that. And I was like, it was time for me to make the jump. It was a really hard jump for me because my best friends are in that other company. And actually Salt Lake was really hard for me because I've been to many conventions there in Salt Lake with that crowd. So I was kind of shocked that I was sitting there grieving all of that. But it's been really good. The last couple of months I've been working through my own personal growth stuff. I'm working with Ruthie and another coach, Michelle. And I feel like I'm almost a new person there. Like I'm figuring out who I am, what I want. So this whole thing, when you really dive into it, it's like, for me, it's been complete personal growth program. So I'm really excited. We're almost done with our promos at work, so I might be able to actually focus on this stuff again. With the Thanksgiving and the Christmas promos and all that, and then the gala last week, I've just kind of had to focus on all that for now. So we're almost done. I'm almost back.
Well,
Excited.
I'm just glad you're here. Like, and that's the biggest thing that I want to say. What's so different for me about this business than in Beachbody is, like, I so appreciate, like, you guys as the humans that you are, and I appreciate you being here. And it's not about, like, what am I getting out of you? How much money am I making off you? Like, that's really not it. And what I wanted you to see here tonight, and I know I have to wrap it up soon just because I don't want to keep you here forever, is like, everybody here is a human with an incredible story that has incredible strengths. And like, I would just love for us to like continue to build on that, and for like everyone to like know that you have support and there's people here that have your back, honestly. And that if you need help, like, you can use like the team page to ask for help, no matter what that is. It doesn't always have to be business related. Like, there are really fucking smart people in this crowd. Sorry, you're used to me. Is there anyone, before I cut it, like, I want to respect everyone's time. I know it's late. Is there anyone else that has like a burning desire to talk that didn't have a chance to? Anyone? No? Okay, you guys, thank you so much for coming. We're gonna wrap up. I want everyone to really enjoy your holiday. That doesn't mean stop, like, continue. Like, 2019, I think, is gonna be really, really huge for us. So like, don't go dead over the next couple of weeks, but enjoy your holiday. And then Mandy, what did we decide? January, I posted it somewhere, January 6th, something like that. It's scheduled in the team call, but Mandy's gonna be teaching us all about the science of Nerf 1, and I'm going to be hanging on every word because I don't understand that quite as well as I understand Nerf 2. So thank you all for being here. I so, so, so appreciate you guys. See you soon. Bye.